Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what improved your quality of life so much you wish you did it sooner? In my early 20s I learned it was okay to say, I don't know, instead of pretending I knew what someone was talking about. People are excited to share what they know. It's such a simple thing that led to a lot of professional and social growth for me. The other best thing to learn is to not shame someone for not knowing something and being willing to teach them. The narcissistic trend in workplaces these days is to hoard information so that you can be seen as the smartest person in the room while everyone is trying to keep up. My stepfather would scream and act a fool when I told him I didn't know. I was literally not allowed to use that phrase as a child. He's literally one of the stupidest people I've ever met though, so maybe he feared the term. It sounds cliché, but diet and exercise doesn't have to even be extreme. Just eat more fruits and vegetables and try to do something active every day. A nice BM makes everything better. A nice baby mama. Quitting that toxic job. I was fired from my miserable job. Was upset for a while, but honestly I thank them for it. Same thing just happened to me last week. The fact that they didn't even try to talk to me about what they were unsatisfied with confirmed that it was due to my superior hating me after I got into an argument with him some months ago where I was telling him to stop taking his bad mood out on me. I left the conversation with our boss with a smile and such a big relief that I didn't have to ponder the decision to quit anymore. Haha. Being intentional about where my mind is going and whether it's constructive or not. Can you expand a bit on this? I feel like I dwell on negative thoughts too much and just don't know how to redirect. What's helped me when I catch I'm doing this is turn whatever I'm negative about into a thankfulness exercise. E.g., goddamn traffic, does no one know how to drive? 2. I'm not in a rush and it's a beautiful day. I'm thankful this person not turning right after stopping at a red when they can and should for slowing me down and letting me appreciate the sun. Not always easy, and I don't always succeed. It's practice, though, and I'm getting better at it. It helps adjust my perspective to something that at least feels less shitty. Blackout curtains. Paying attention to my diet and eating healthy, working out regularly, stretching. My physical and mental health has improved drastically. I didn't even know how crappy I felt at the time, and it's only in hindsight I can see how awful my gorging and sloth made me feel. I started walking for 40 minutes per day and I feel more alive. Hard to describe until you feel it for yourself. We just bought a new house where we can walk to work and it takes me about 40 minutes each way. It's made an amazing difference. Moving out of my hometown. I never felt like where I was from was home. Was never comfortable. Kept hitting hurdles trying to come up and be better. But once I left, my entire life trajectory changed for the better. I am a software developer, so I spend over 8 hours a day looking at a screen. I started having severe tiredness, depression, and this lasted a couple of years. No matter how much sleep I got, it didn't help. I became irritable and eventually started having headaches. I thought it was sinus headaches because it felt similar. Then I had severe migraines. I went to the doctor and everything came back normal. Eventually I found out that it could be eye strain. I started resting my eyes every 30 minutes, focusing on something around 20 feet away. If I am using my phone, I use it a reasonable distance away. A few days later all of my symptoms disappeared. This comment needs more upvotes. I'm a software engineering student and was having massive problems with headaches from studying, and taking 30-second breaks every 20 minutes completely fixed it. I use a Chrome extension now to remind me because I forget otherwise. It really has been life-changing. Quit smoking, edit, it's been 10Y now and most upvotes I ever got for anything, thank you very much. I got 4 cigarettes left, then I'm joining you. Edit, 1 left. Taking it before bed, then Walpurgis night will be my day of renewal and purging of bad habits. Thank you all for the amazing tips and encouragement. Now I feel so pumped to ditch the death sticks. Toss them winking face. Understanding that working with someone smarter than you is a privilege and an opportunity to learn and hone your own skills, not a threat. If you're the smartest person in the room, you want to spend some time in other rooms. Not drinking alcohol. Topped at 44, should have stopped at 24. Thanks to people like you wishing you'd quit earlier, I took the advice and quit in my 20s. Thank you. If true, great, and if you're wanting to hear when you're older, turn down the music. Nanny cammed my wife abusing her daycare kids and used the video to win my house in the divorce. I'm glad you found out about her. How awful. I do not choose this guy's wife. Losing weight, I lost nearly 70 pounds. It transformed my life. I've lost 50 pounds in total. I can finally breathe and think clearly. Replacing my Amazon Basics office chair with something that actually offers lumbar support. Escaping the Jehovah's Witnesses cult. Drinking water, washing my face every day, flossing every day, and not starving myself. I'm so smug when I floss. I think about how proud the dentist is going to be when I tell them at my next checkup that I floss every day. I'm like the kid that gives the teacher an apple. Buying a dishwasher. IDK, a single person who enjoys doing dishes, but I had no clue just how much I would enjoy having one. Takes approximately 5 minutes of my time to load the thing, and it does the dishes for me while I watch TV, game lol. I live alone and only have about 4 to 6 dishes, utensils at the end of every night. There's something very calming and zen-like about doing them by hand just before I settle in for the night and being able to put them up in the morning as I prepare breakfast. I can so relate to this. I spent the last 6 years washing dishes by hand. This year, I moved into an apartment with a dishwasher. It gave me a real appreciation for this little appliance that I took for granted in my misspent youth. Taking vitamin D every day literally changed my life. For anyone considering this, it's not an overnight thing. It took a solid 3 months for me to even notice a difference, and it wasn't a, oh wow I feel great. It was waking up one morning and just being able to get out of bed without thinking about it, having just a little better sleep without trying, having just a little more energy that gave me the strength to do the other things that made me feel better, and one day I just noticed I felt so much better. It went from being under a wet heavy blanket, to just a heavy blanket, to just a blanket. If you also start taking fish oil or an omega-3, PSA, it can mess with your dreams. Gave me nightmares at first and I had to switch to taking it in the morning. This absolutely. It took time, but I went from thinking I had narcolepsy to one day realizing I could make it through a day without taking a nap. For others, no, this is a fat-soluble vitamin, plus A, E and K, have to have, or is better if, eaten W something W, any kind of fat, aids in transport from the gut, absorption smiley face. For anyone considering this, be mindful of the dose you take. A large dose can take you from deficient to too much, and the body can't clear excess vitamin D, which can cause different problems. Getting tested is the best way to know for sure. My mom accidentally took way too much vitamin D for about a year before it built up to toxic levels in her blood. At its worst, she couldn't figure out how to use the TV remote control or sign her own name. She did get better, but it took a few months. Breaking up with my ex. I wish I did it back in 2023. I stayed with my ex for nearly 4 years, but I saw the first red flag about 3 months in. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I had loved myself enough to leave right then. Same story, 6 years. Nobody understands when I explain that I knew everything was bad the whole time but couldn't leave for 6 years. Even though I have hints of why, I still don't fully understand it myself 3+ years later. I'm touched. I can read here that I'm not alone. Oof, when I called it off with my toxic ex I was infinitely happier, fitter and more confident. Cheers to you, hope you're thriving, sparkles sparkles. I am literally glowing, thanks. Stopped putting so much weight on what other people thought. I started this sentence reading weight like pounds, but I like your answer. B-Day. I'm honestly annoyed that I lived this long without one. Yep, so disappointing. I went 40 years without. I recently spent a week out of town for work and missed it, sorely. Quitting drinking. Lost 50 pounds. Skin cleared up, and I look younger. It's probably because my body is functioning as it should. Eating healthier also has helped. I'm 33. I will have a year sober on May 14th. I'm still figuring out how to make new friends whose lives don't revolve around drinking. It's lonely, but it's still better than the utter despair of alcoholism. Ah yes, I quit drinking at 27 after 14 years of alcohol abuse, and my whole life and circle of friends revolved around partying. It did take a while to make new friends, didn't even know how to socialize sober, but the ones I made have been the best ever. Big congrats to you. And I used to think everybody drinks, but there are actually plenty of people who don't. If you have any interests, music, reading, sports, put yourself out there. Getting diagnosed and medicated. Sometimes you can't just bootstrap yourself into a happy, productive person. Got into mushroom cultivation. These oysters and champignons really make me a lot happier about life in general. Mycology is a great process to learn. Those cubensis are pretty good too. Getting a cat. My life still isn't great, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my first cat. Lived alone in a city with no friends or family right out of college. That little ball of fluff was my only company on a lot of dark nights. Same, I got my cat during COVID and she kept me sane during the long months alone. Now I'm more or less completely remote and I enjoy it very much when she comes into my office to say hello. I didn't delete my accounts, but I removed social media apps from my phone and I started to ignore most political news. I'm so much happier and productive. I do a regular social media and news detox. It's definitely better for your mental health. Laser eye surgery. I had -7.5 and -7.25 vision and couldn't even read my phone screen at more than 3 inches. Now, I can wake up and see what time it is on the alarm clock. The catalyst for me was when I put my glasses down on the bathroom counter and couldn't find them. I was looking 2 inches from the countertop and just couldn't find them. This was a few weeks after I knocked them off my nightstand and under my bed. I got laser eye surgery in 2020, yes, that was on purpose, and I truly forget all the time I ever needed glasses or lenses before that. It's incredible. I was 32 when I had it done and feel like that's actually a decent time to do it. There's so many things that are massively improved that I am not sure people who have had decent vision their whole life realize. Can lie down or rest head against something without having to take glasses off. Can be out in the rain on a hot day without your glasses steaming up. Can see your feet and lower body in the shower. I imagine this is even better for anyone who regularly shaves their legs, can actually see people or things or a clock etc. when you are swimming. Prior to that I would just guess how long I'd have been doing laps for in my local pool, don't have to constantly be cleaning glasses. Can take clothes off up over your head without it ripping your glasses off. Can wear sunglasses. Can play VR games a lot easier. Huge cost saving is not having to get new specs every 2 years.